I'm Ali Sorat from Iran and I'm a student at Shahid Avini High School. I made this short film with my classmates, thank them. This film is about our misbehavior to others that we may not notice. There are many people around us and they have big obstacles. Their problems are solved for us very easily and we ignore them. But when someone causes controversy, other humans look at him and forget their problem very easily. Hope you like this film. Good luck.
Hello, I'm Emerson Tapat, director of A Boy with a Movie Camera short film. First of all, I should thank you for selecting my film at your festival. But due to the conditions in Iran and the spread of coronavirus, I can't be present at the festival. A Boy with a Movie Camera based on my big concern, one of the big problems in the world. I made the film where not many talents discovered. There's no even a cinema there, and it's so bad. Anyway, it's a great honor to be at your festival. Thank you, Cine Student Film Festival. With the best wishes.
Pule bien.
Bujum pule domenia.
Bam diye pulem dedi.
Bujum pule domenia.
Pule bien gel.
Cut. علی رام مصنوعی وازی که الان جایی که باشید اون
سكت ما كدي. سكتا كاداني. نبيني نادي. مجاوزي يا
بجام كيف واسط وازی بکی از وازی رینی نیوا
ايوه الخواي زاوية وارد وادي بكم بايد دوربيني بسين
تقدرم يا قاتل خوب بيرلارم
نبي بابشان بازار دايما كم قيمات تغودي بولنا
ارجعي راس فجينية
بمشي من بازار بزامرني بقيمة قيمات
ايوه صرت شو الباق دي صار زمينه كار بقول يا قجمري بوازي بكدي
قجمري واجي بفين درس كان
باقو زدست عصبانية
نگاه کن تو رو از من بلندتر ساختم
ايوه تلفزيون خاموش كديه
إلى آخر بينما
وقتی شو من خاموشه که دیت جوز که بسه
دوربین فیلم برداری
دوربین فیلم برداری یه هستم بویده تکمانشی هم خدمت
هیچ چنین
یه قابل را نری یه بگه تو اس 50 تومن
وين جيك رأي تحت بيهم
یه دوربین فیه تخفیف نمیتونم بگم نهایتا بتونم 220 تومن
أحسن تجربة بيهم شو
150ش خیلی کم است 150 نمیتونم بگم اصلا
تشوفوا ممكن نيجي ندور آها بس ده ما كان
باشه سبب هر درس من آوردی کنی دوربینه بری
Seni söyleyeyim. Olahi. Taşlar çabuk. Mezarın bazı fika.
بشو کان یه خوازه چه بکن فقط یه ریمینی ها چه شرط بندی واضح که دیگه دارم
چطانه
یا خواه واضح که
منم نو
ای خواه واضح که چند خواه واضح که 80 تومن بردم رشید نخاموشی بچه مش بودن رشید نخاموشی ماته چه؟ بیده بیا نه مرکنی بیا بره چه کردی؟
أيوب بابا في شبه gusta despertarme cuando aún todos duermen. Cuando es de noche y hay silencio. Nos gustaba hacer eso a mi madre y a mí antes de venir a este sitio. Yo todavía lo hago, seguro que ella también. Las madres siempre dan buenos consejos. La mía me decía, madruga. Aunque Dios no te ayude, tú, madruga. Siempre le ha preocupado el tiempo. Siempre ha tenido prisa. Hay días en los que parece que la entiendo. En los que siento como si se me hiciera tarde y necesitara salir de este sitio. Aunque cada día me cueste más. Cada día todo me cuesta un poquito más.
Buenos días, hoy es lunes 29 de octubre de 2018. Estamos en otoño. A las 10 hay taller de pintura en la sala de usos múltiples. Y esta tarde a las 4 habrá bingo en el comedor principal. Oye, Manuel, ven, ¿qué quieres comer hoy? Tenemos alubias y espirales.
Cocido.
Buenos días, hoy es jueves 15 de noviembre de 2000. Hoy es domingo 23 de diciembre de 2000. Se acerca la entrega de los regalos del amigo. Hoy es martes 12 de marzo de 2019. Y estamos en... Hoy es sábado 6 de abril de 2019. Para comer estamos en brócoli con bechamel o crema de parmentier. Oye, Manuel, ¿qué quieres comer hoy?
Cocido. 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 Para poner una denuncia...
¿Me llamando? Sí, dígame.
Pues mire, me hace jugar con viejos y cuando juego con Juan al dominó se esconde fichas.
Ana,
y eso sí
ya tenemos otra vez a Manuel aquí. ¿Qué es lo que hacemos?
Y ahí está todo escrito.
¿Lo acompañamos?
Siempre le digo que lo van a encerrar y ya me cansa porque él no se da cuenta y sigue haciendo...
Ya están llegando.
Vale, voy a acompañarlo.
Y eso es hacer trampas, ¿sabes que sí? Pero...
Hay que llevar un poquito más de cuidado, ¿eh?
Sí, disculpe. Muchas gracias. Venga, vamos dentro a cambiarte.
¿Ya te has ido a la policía otra vez? Eres un pesado.
Tú sí que eres pesada.
Tú más.
No, tú más.
Venga, va, dejarlo ya. Que parecidos niños pequeños. ¿Y tú qué? ¿Sigues queriendo salir a dar un paseo? ¿O la aventurilla de antes te ha quitado las ganas? ¿Recuerdas cuando veníamos aquí? ¿Cómo ha cambiado todo? Los camareros llevaban pajarita. Y hasta el café tenía un color más oscuro e intenso. Te encantaba este sitio. Mirar a la gente, observar sus gestos, sus manías. Que el sol iluminara tu piel. Respirar el aire fresco y olvidar el ruido de la ciudad. Decías que era el único lugar donde te sentías cómodo, porque nunca nadie te miraba. Un día te escapaste y viniste solo. Quise enfadarme contigo, pero no pude. Me dijiste dónde iba a estar, en nuestra mesa. Es increíble cómo la ciudad avanza, cómo la vida avanza sin que le importe que seas capaz de seguirla. Y nosotros nunca fuimos muy rápidos, ¿verdad, Manuel?
Yo no he vuelto a encontrarla jamás desde aquel día. De su vida no sé qué será desde aquel día. Es posible que tenga otro amor, una nueva ilusión.
Venga, hombre, juega ya. ¿Qué hace?
Yo no juego con viejos.
Que no juega con viejos, dice tu padre. Vamos. Vamos ya, vamos.
¿No te has tomado las pastillas?
Me gusta despertarme cuando aún todos duermen. Cuando es de noche y hay silencio. Nos gustaba hacer eso a mi madre y a mí antes de venir a este sitio. Yo todavía lo hago, seguro que ella también. Las madres siempre dan buenos consejos. La mía me decía, madruga, aunque Dios no te ayude tú, madruga. Siempre le ha preocupado el tiempo, siempre ha tenido prisa. Hay días en los que parece que la entiendo, en los que siento como si se me hiciera tarde y necesitara salir de este sitio. Aunque cada día me cueste más. Cada día todo me cuesta un poquito más.
HELPS is an organization that started in 1984 with 4 doctors with the purpose of serving basically the underserved of Guatemala.
And we traveled to different, more rural areas in Guatemala to be able to serve a lot of indigenous people in Guatemala, a lot of people who don't have access to regular health care.
The triage area is where people line up. It's where people come in from all over the hills, all around the town that we're staying in.
The people travel for hours and days to make it to these makeshift hospitals. So many have to walk for hours, catch chicken buses.
These people are coming in and staying overnight sometimes. It might take them hours, it might be the next day, but they still come in.
This year we actually did an outreach where we went to even a more remote area where people could not get to our clinic. So we took our clinic to them. We tried to help them there and provide a service to them and get many people out of pain and give them a level of comfort.
This last time we saw over 1,300 patients in the span of just about 4.5 days. We did over 100 surgeries. We saw patients in pediatrics and gynecology, close to 200 for each of those. And in the dental clinic, we saw over 400 patients. So we come working with incredible intensity. We work over 12-hour days. It's probably close to 20-hour days. And we get less sleep than we normally would in the US. But I think that sacrifice is worth it at the end when we are able to provide care for these patients who wouldn't otherwise have access to care.
Most of them have shoes that are torn, they have holes in them, and knowing that the number of shoes you have with you during the trip is more than what they will ever have in their lifetime. But when they are done with the procedures and you see their smile in their face, it makes it really worth coming here and spending the time and helping them.
Some cases are hard to take hours to do because we don't have the same equipment we do here, as opposed to what we have back in the United States. It is a lot of work, a lot of long hours and difficult conditions, but it's very rewarding. But it's just another surgery for us could change someone's life forever, and that's kind of what makes this so special. The fact that regular doctors, dentists, surgeons, or whoever wants to help out and just change these people's lives and allow them to have a better future and a better life.
I will first start off by saying I would not change a single thing that I did or that I went through to be exactly where I am today. I grew up and was a major athlete my entire life. In my last year at UC Irvine, I developed a stress fracture in my pelvis from overtraining from running. And it was either run my last season and manage it or sit the whole season. I was so focused on being able to perform and to compete. It's my last year. Of course I'm gonna run. But that decision kind of changed the course of my life forever. When I graduated, had the stress fracture, I was put on pain medication. And from there, the mixture of the identity crisis that I was going through as the loss of a student athlete and the physical pain of what I was feeling kind of was like the perfect storm of how my addiction kind of spiraled. So it started out with pain meds for a simple pain that turned into a 4-year-long saga of suffering. Because once I stopped getting those, I had to find it elsewhere. Heroin was just the next step. The amount that I was doing and the tolerance that my body had built to it was kind of incredible, and I shouldn't be alive right now. My family had to come in and they had to intervene on my life and literally pluck me out of where I was to give me the opportunity to change for myself. I had a counselor, I had a therapist, I had group therapy, I had Torah study every morning. I had a highly structured environment where I was able to literally just press pause on the life that I was living to fix the parts of myself that were a little broken. The first year of recovery was about surrender. The second year was trying to start to build a plan of action as to how I was gonna start to get back to work and to get back to life outside of rehab. And then the third year was when things started to get magical. The third year was when I started to really see the growth that I developed over the last 2 years. This last fourth year was the best so far. I mean, as far as professionally, personally, things just keep getting better the longer that I stay on this path. I teach at a wonderful studio. I teach fitness. I graduated from UCLA with an education as a substance abuse counselor. I just got my licensure last year as a counselor, and I just started recently working with private counseling clients. I was able to develop a mind and body program for the treatment center that I did go to, and I worked there for 2 years while I was in school implementing this program with movement and exercise and nutrition. What my goal is with sharing my message and my story is that addiction has no face. Addiction has no income level. It has no race. Addiction doesn't discriminate against anything or anyone. It is everywhere. If people are watching this and they're worried for themselves or they're worried for someone else, all they need to do is speak up and ask for help. Because we've got to get rid of the shame around this if people really want to get better.
So Safe Families for Children is an emergency system that mom can willingly sign away her rights of her children to a safe family home. For example, mom's homeless or living in a shelter. She needs help and willingly asks for help. The end goal for Safe Families is to have the children back with their mother. Is it a healthy environment they go back to? Sadly, not always. In my mind, my job is to let these children know at some point in their life they've been loved unconditionally with no abuse.
When most of the foster kids come, they usually are afraid of the dogs and they don't really like to talk much. And when they leave, they're usually more friendly.
My first placement ever, which was a boy and a girl, brother, sister, 3 and 2 years old. They had been locked in a condo or an apartment for a month with a pit bull. When I got them, they had cigarette burns all over them. And mom wrote on the paperwork, cigarette burn on left butt cheek. It was supposed to be 48 hours. It turned into 48 days. And the children did not speak when they came to me. They only had this high-pitched squeal of terror. But I would say that that story and those 2 kids changed all of my kids' lives and my life. Our minds were blown by the idea that someone could abuse these little people. That, I think, will always be memorable, I think, for all of us, because it was our first ever experience, and it was probably one of the worst ever experiences.
I learned that people come from different backgrounds and they don't have as much as we do and they need more help.
They don't get attention for being a good kid. They don't get attention for eating their dinner or sitting quietly. The only time they can get their parents' attention is when they act like they're throwing up. So a lot of times they'll gag themselves to throw up just so mom will notice them. It's so sad, but they are so used to only getting negative attention that they do anything to get attention.
How many people live at home with you?
Just Alex, my mom, my dad, and my little baby sister, Ariana.
What are some of the chores that you do at home?
Mostly just watch my brother and make sure everything is clean. Also watch my sister too.
When do you watch your sister?
when my mom is gone and also when she's out for errands.
So you're home alone with your sister?
Yeah, and Alex.
How do you feel when you're watching them?
Kind of freaked out a little.
Why do you get a little freaked out?
Well, because I had to watch Ariana, and I had to make sure Alex is okay. And it's pretty hard.
Do you get worried sometimes?
Yeah.
So when mainly do you get worried?
Mostly like when he starts crying, because he cries a lot when he's alone, and Ariana starts crying when like she just gets fussy a lot. So I try to make sure they're both okay. It's kind of hard.
Aiden, how old are you?
7.
I've learned by having foster siblings was a bigger brother role and how to help them out and just be caring. I think that I have been happier just because I've been able to learn about so many people and how they've like helped other people, so I can do that too.
I think it's just taught me to appreciate life, every day of life, wholeheartedly, and take every experience with my own kids, let alone these little people that I get in my life, and really appreciate the funny things they say or little things they do or a hug or a kiss that might not be super special in everybody's everyday life, but when you realize that sometimes that's never happened to a child without a negative in their day, it's kind of special.
Hi, my name is Madison Impomado. I'm the director of Chasing Normality. Chasing Normality is a short documentary that dives into the world of mental health for various high school students. I hope you guys enjoy.
Struggling with a mental illness can be isolating. It begins to feel as if not only are you alone, but that you shouldn't burden others. The darkness, day in, day out, what some call a cloud that you just can't seem to escape, begins to close in.
A nationwide tragedy, suicide. It is growing rapidly among teenagers. Since the year 2000, the suicide rate for teens is up 28%.
I really got into costume design in 7th grade. When I started designing clothes, I started designing stuff that I thought would be fun to wear, or that I thought I would feel comfortable in. And that developed into my passion for fashion design and art today. Just like taking the tiny things and just exploring them and like magnifying them. I went to OSHA. It was my absolute dream school. Every part of me wanted to go there. And the day I got in was like the best day of my life. But then life there was so competitive. I'd come home every day from school crying. My brain always expected the worst for the next day. And I feel like that's where a lot of my anxiety comes from. Dealing with that is just something I've struggled with pretty badly in the past. There was like small victories where I'd get called into an audition, or someone would actually ask me if I wanted to hang out with them at lunch. But then the fall would be even greater, where it was like someone telling me I should kill myself, or that I had no friends, I didn't belong there. And I didn't need those people telling me that, because that's what my brain was already thinking. So it was just reinforcing those thoughts and sending me into like a deeper pit.
Most of my childhood was spent in Mexico. We moved to America when I was in 2nd grade. Things just got a lot harder really quick. I spent most of my middle school life alone. In 7th grade, I was diagnosed with depression and anxiety. I didn't know what it was. I just thought that everybody kind of felt like that. Just a lot of voices screaming all the time. telling me different things, like how there was really no point for me being here. I just felt like it was my fault for not being able to be happy.
I moved here from Illinois, I'd say around halfway through 4th grade. And the move was really tough for us because I had always kind of been in this small town. My dad suffered from pretty bad anxiety for most of his life, and my sister just started to develop anxiety too. My sister would start a lot of fights and arguments with my parents, and my routine pretty much consisted of me waking up to yelling. I get to school and have to kind of put on this mask and act like I'm feeling all right. I blamed myself because I felt like I couldn't do anything, and I felt like it was my fault. I guess that kind of constant self-blame manifested into worse thoughts and feelings, and everything just kind of went downhill from there. Honestly, I'd say the vast majority of people who are depressed or have something like that, they do feel suicidal at least at some point, or at least they have the thoughts. For me, I was, and I guess there's just a lot of buildup and no real thought put into it, other than I should do it. People assume that something like this, something like suicide, depression, this can all be approached with logic. I can be insanely depressed, insanely suicidal, and I would know that there's no reason for me to feel that way. I've always hit points in my depression where I thought this was the hardest that I can get, and no one ever prepares you for the fact that it can get worse, and it can get so much worse. At this point, every year, I thought that was going to be the year that I take my life. I would not turn 15, I would not turn 16, I would not turn 17, but here I am. Yesterday was my birthday, and I'm 17 years old. It's the first time in a while, say like 6 years, that I've felt somewhat okay. I've been able to say that.
In middle school, I started really writing. It was an outlet. It was a way to not only express myself creatively, but also a way to let my thoughts and my feelings out. It was a distraction because instead of having these thoughts replay in my mind, I was able to just take time to think about something else and to focus on something else. Writing has impacted my life immensely. I write every single day, every single time I can.
Smile by Maria Pantoja. Isn't your smile the sunshine of my world? Beauty lies beyond those lips, as well as secrets told. Passion with every grin, life with every word.
There's many different ways that people can find their outlets. It can be small little things, it can be big things, and before you know it, it'll be less of a distraction for what you're thinking and more of a motivation to keep going.
Art was essentially another outlet that helped me create another world. Expressing myself through art helps release some of that anger and stress and feelings which I don't even know what to call them. Just blah them all out onto the page. I mean, I guess as hard as it sounds, that life will be better. It will get better. It might go from bad to okay, but then it can go to okay to great. And I think that's where you just gotta be positive and you gotta look forward to anything.
You're the best, dude, don't worry.
You need support, and it's hard to find support at times, but that's one of the challenges of life. You gotta push. It's an uphill battle, and you have to fight to find somebody who will be there and support you no matter what.
The way that people see the mental health community, they see it as this very one-dimensional thing where, oh, they see a headline, this person killed himself, this person committed a mass killing. Whatever it is, they did something and there were repercussions of it. And they just see a label attached to it. Oh, this depressed individual committed suicide. But they don't see the build-up to it. And so because of that, you see it as this broken person.
It's not a burden
or a thing that people should be weirded out by or should discriminate against.
I don't want other people to have to go through the kind of self-isolation that I put myself through. And I want people to understand that there is a way out, and all you really have to do, the first step is just to talk to people and get help from people, because people around you will care.
Hi, my name is Jeremy Cohn. I'm a junior from Wayland High School, and this is my short film, Life is Just a Movie That Only God Could Enjoy. Thank you for tuning in.
What is the meaning of life? Is a question that everybody has asked at least once in their life. There are many answers to that question, and no one knows which answer is right and which one is wrong. Some people think that the meaning of life is the survival of the fittest. Others think that the meaning of life is to make more life, and some people think that the meaning of life is death. I personally think that the meaning of life is to live. Live it until you run into the ground. Because after all, life is just a movie that only God could enjoy. That is me driving to work sometime in 2019, a year before I retired. At this point, I am 75 years old working as a high school teacher at Tarantino High School. I began working as a U.S. history teacher back in 1993. I was only 49. That's usually about when teachers start thinking about retirement. I would have became a teacher earlier in 85, but I had to graduate high school first. 87 was when I actually graduated. Then college and my hiring followed right afterwards. On this day that we see here, I was having a bit of a mental breakdown, I was thinking way too much about my past. Surprisingly, I wasn't always that crazy. That's just an example of what 75 years of stress does to you. All the stress began at the exact moment when I started living. It all started when I was 16, way back in 1960. I walked home from school one day, and I already could tell that something was not right. The house did not reek of my mother's cooking like it usually did. I went upstairs to discover a burglar in the house. I didn't know what to do except to chokehold him and call the cops. The strange man in my house had a $500 bounty on his head. That money paid off the rent for months. Before that day, I didn't know that everyday people could make money by turning people in at the local jailhouse. I honestly thought that was only a thing you saw in Gunsmoke or something. I was absolutely amazed. The next day, I dropped out of high school and became the best bounty hunter in all of California. My home back then, and for many years to come. My life was pretty good for about the next decade. Then things started to peak in 1971. I consider that to be the best year of my life. Hunting down a criminal was as easy as breathing at that point. Are you Kent Anderson?
Indeed I am. Who is asking?
Clark Crawley. I'm a huge fan of your work.
Someone has good taste. What is this?
You, sir, are arrested for 12 murders in 3 states from the span of 1968 to 1971. Then roadblocks showed up in my path. I became a father, but not a husband. Things didn't necessarily start to decline in 1972, but that year was the first of many bad years to come. I often consider 1971 to be amazing, but during that year I messed up big time. Unfortunately, I was forced to commit my biggest mistake. The mother of my daughter was actually a criminal herself. Her ad in the newspaper was one I received one day and I had to bring her to justice. Of course I didn't want it to. But the reason why the California crime rate didn't skyrocket more than already did was because of me. I had a job to do, and I like to think that I did it well, and unfortunately this was a part of my job. After the arrest and eventual death of the mother of my child, my daughter was forced to live with her aunt who fed her false information about me and the faith of her mother. I didn't hear from my daughter again until 1977. In 1977, I started a little office. I had a team of bounty hunters that turned in criminals to me, and I turned them into the cops. It was a good system, and it boosted the status of my good name in the streets of California. One day I got a hate-filled letter from my daughter and I was absolutely heartbroken. But I couldn't be there for her. I had to stay where I was and make the streets of California a better place for her and others like her to live in. The next and last time I saw her was in 1985, the most important year of my life. She was only 14 years old. She tried to overthrow my business as revenge for what she thought happened to her mother. She did a good job, might I add. She came to my office and the next thing I remember, I was in a dumpster on the other side of the country, treated like absolute trash. And that, ladies and gentlemen, was my aha moment. Not only did I get kicked out of the life I knew, but it was by my daughter, the only thing I ever truly loved. That seems like the end, but that's only Act 1. Before the day my life started back in 1960, I had no idea what I wanted to do. Since I was back at that point, I decided to finish school. Yep, a 41-year-old back in high school to learn. I started high school in 1959 and I finished in 1987. I went to college right afterwards and graduated that in 1993. But then I was well accustomed to living life in the Windy City. Never in my life did I stop to think that I would end up there. Right after I graduated from college, I got a teaching job as a U.S. history teacher at Tarantino High School in the suburbs, and I retired as a U.S. history teacher at Tarantino High School. Not much has happened in my 27 years of teaching. I've made one friend, and I've spent my time thinking a little too much, People always complain that their life sucks or it's totally amazing, but, not me. My life is just interesting. I made only a few mistakes and there was points where I bit off way too much than I could chew, but I made it through it all because I only did it one way and that was my way, which, I'll be honest, I wouldn't recommend that for everyone. But I guess someone enjoyed my life burning and blossoming at the same time, because after all, life is just a movie that only God could enjoy.
Hello! Didn't see you there. My name's Jake Tannenbaum and you're about to watch my film Writer's Block. Please enjoy.
Ideas. Okay, this could work.
Victoria sat patiently waiting for her customer. She herself wasn't necessarily the supplier, simply a messenger. This was her first time delivering, so naturally, she was a bit nervous. She didn't show it though. She couldn't show weakness in this line of work. Despite this, she had much to be nervous about. From what she heard, the customers this business attracted weren't exactly the cleanest of characters, and the package itself was even more nerve-wracking. This box was a ticking time bomb, and Victoria knew this. What was in this box was
Absolutely fucking nothing! Okay. Back to square one. Come on, Ross.
Calvin and Sabrina did not know each other, but a chance encounter in the park would change that for them. After accidentally knocking Sabrina's papers out of her hands, Calvin looked into her eyes and said,
Shit! Alright, come on, Ross, come on. This is the one.
In the park, the escaped prisoner ran as fast as they could. This prisoner, despite being the first prisoner to break out of the highest security prison in the country, surprisingly, wasn't the greatest at maintaining a tight shoelace. This fall, which could have easily been prevented through practicing proper personal safety, gave the ensuing detective an opening to catch the prisoner. However, what this prisoner lacked in agility, he made up for in intelligence. Having come prepared, he knew that he could sway his captor after he revealed...
God damn it!
A young man sits on a bench, penning a story. He doesn't know where he'll go, but he knows that he'll get there. He starts to write about his own experiences, sitting down, thinking of
I'm Ethan Stone, and this is my film When Life Gives You Lemons.
Hello, Cine Student Film Festival. My name is Paolo Sessi, and this is our short film Psychosis, starring Elisa Londra Prieto, DP'd by Lucas Scalia, production designed by Jinyu Eneral, associate produced by Xavier Smith, makeup and costume by Renata Sesti, and written, directed, produced, and edited by myself. I hope you all enjoy, and I'd like to thank Cine Student Film Festival for the official selection. Thank you so much. How does it feel to have met with a terrible fate? Do you loathe it? Loathe the feeling of helplessness? You have a choice, however. I will take whoever is left. Who should suffer? You or the baby?
Hi, my name is Jeff Buck. I'm a Prospect High School freshman from Mount Prospect, Illinois. I've been into filmmaking for quite a while now, and this is my newest short film, Doggo Day Life. It's a narrative film narrated by a dog that just shows his perspective on the ins and outs of dog life. And things take a bit of a turn when the brother starts acting strange and evasive. I sincerely hope you enjoy it. Roll the film. I am invincible. I am unstoppable. And I look impossibly cute in a basket. I am... Oh, what, were you expecting someone else? Anyway, where are my manners? My name is Benny, and as you can tell, I'm a dog. I'm just a regular dog with regular dog obligations. When you're a dog, you have to abide to the laws of the dog code. Family comes first, then comes food. Always be vigilant. My family is always nice to me. They take me on walks and make sure I am well fed and well cared for. I always try to be nice to them even when they don't return the kindness.
Hey, what are you doing? Get out. You know you're getting my chips. Come on, go, leave, get off.
Yep, you saw it. Food. Dogs will do anything to get food. Will pull out all the tricks and stop at nothing day and night. Benny, stop. You're not going to get my food today. Okay, fine. That was too easy. Always be vigilant, the third and final rule. I'm always watching in our big window for any mailmen or squirrels that might come by, threatening our existence.
Thanks for watching the yard, Benny.
You're welcome, brother. I always make sure I never get distracted. Sorry, you smell really good. I constantly have to defend my family from tons of ruthless forces like the dogs next door.
This is war. Peace was never an option.
You just wait until I learn how to jump this fence. I'm just happy to be included. I think my family appreciates it. I'm trying to work. That's better. And don't even get me started on the wheeler. It's been hard at times because it's really scary. Whenever I'm having a rough day, I can always talk to my best friend, Mr. Chew, who's always nice to me even when I try to bite off his feet.
What's got you down, buddy?
I tried to eat Mom's food today and she put me in the crate.
How could she do that?
I know, I was just hungry.
Why don't you try eating your own food?
The kibble. Why is it even called that anyway? One thing dogs are really good at is noticing if something is different. Like if Mom puts a different veggie burger in my food. What was that? Or if we're going someplace other than the dog park. I don't remember this many left turns on the way to the dog park. I ended up getting a bath. Or if something's wrong with my brother. Lately he hasn't been acting the same at all. Days, brother didn't act like his normal self. He never wanted to toss any chew toys or throw me any treats. He just went right up to sleep.
Thank you for calling Southwest Community Hospital. How can I help you?
Hi, my name's Jake Sterner. I'm calling about one of your patients, James Pastata. Yeah, I'm a friend of his, and I just want to see how he's doing. Okay. That kind of surgery, Well, can I see him? Oh. Okay. No, don't hit me with this "there's nothing I can do" stuff. There's clearly... Okay, I'm sorry, that was rude, but just... I want you to promise me one thing. Don't lose him. Something was wrong. Brother? Brother? Where are you? Ah! Oh. I proceeded to have bad dreams like that for the next several days. More and more days went by and brother just didn't seem to be acting any differently. It's like he was in this constant state of sadness, and I didn't like it one bit. After a while, I didn't want treats or toys or anything. I just wanted my brother back. One day, I was walking up the stairs and I saw brother. Oh no. What am I gonna do?
You okay? He was in a lot of pain, so I think it was the right time.
It was not the right time. James was young and brilliant, and he had so much potential. He wanted to be a doctor. He could have changed the world. Then he got sick, and now he's gone.
Jake, I'm sorry.
Think about all the people whose lives are never going to be the same again because he's gone. His family, his girlfriend, me, I'm his best friend. How do you think I feel about this?
Is there anything I can do to help?
I'm afraid not. But thanks for asking.
I think someone wants to see you.
When you're a dog, you have to accept that you can't fix everything. The most you can do,
everything's gonna be okay, buddy,
is be there when they need you. Some time went by, and brother started acting like himself again.
Come on, Benny, let's go outside.
I don't know what it was, but I'm pretty sure I helped him. And that makes me happy. I hope you enjoyed my movie, and I hope you learned that being a dog is about being compassionate and being loyal to the family that loves you. And if that means doing something that breaks the rules once or twice, well, it's okay.
Isn't that your 10th draft already?
7th. And no, this is gonna be the one.
Isn't it due in something like
In a week. Look, I know.
Remember last year and the year before? I'm surprised they're giving you an extra week. This is what you want, isn't it? To win this thing and go to a top conservatory?
Mm-hmm.
From what we've been seeing, you've been having trouble getting your pieces done. Oh, and I searched online last night, and they have a new head in charge of the composing department.
Great.
Well, try to get your piece done on time, okay? I have to go check on Andy. Kid's got some great ideas for painting. Oh, and don't forget about the NYU application, okay?
I was here to talk about the deadlines for the submitting, the project.
Yeah, the projects. Yeah, Will. Will, do you know the sport of rowing?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Work with me here. In rowing, picture this: you got 4 boats ready to start a race, and you're boat number 5. And these guys in boats 1 through 4 are pumped, man. They're ready to go. They're ready to get this race started. The crowd is out there. People are screaming. They're ready to go. Everything's ready to go. You're ready to go, Will. And then all of a sudden, you think you're not ready. And so, as this guy's about to say start that race, you're just descending into complete chaos. You're imploding. How fair is that for the other 4 boats? They've been working just as hard as you. They've been trying to be perfect just like you. But you can't attain perfection, Will. You just got to be ready when the moment happens. You understand?
I think so. I just need a little more time to get to where I need
A
to.
little more time.
Because I'm close.
A little more time.
Yeah.
You need a little more time.
Just like.
Well, you have a history of needing a little more time. Well, I'll tell you what. I am working on something, and I want to finish that because I don't have enough time, and I don't have enough time for this conversation. All right, thanks, Will. Thanks for coming by, okay?
Thank you.
Take care.
Well, that's only normal, isn't it? Hey, why don't you come up with something without writing it down? You just play.
So what every other pianist can do at my level? When you listen to the greats, every note has a reason to be in the piece. Every note. You can't just improvise. That's why they call it a composition contest. Here's your flick. Listen, I know the assignment's due next week, but I was wondering, could you extend it, like, maybe just 3 days? Because,
A solid month. Well, you've had a solid month to get this done. Well, you are one of the first people to sign up for this, which means not only did you have a solid month, you probably have more time than anyone else.
But not just about me, though, like, in terms of time. Like, the other kids, they need to finish their chord progressions and their tone just like me, and it would help them, too, because they need the time.
I see. You're being generous. You're thinking about the other kids, too. I'll tell you what, Will. I don't think that giving you extra time, 3 extra days, is gonna all of of a sudden you're gonna just get it all done. I mean, you had like a solid month to get this done. I tell you what, I'm gonna make a special. I'll make a special condition just for you. Yours is due tonight. How's that?
I still have like 2 hours. It's almost 10:10. So Oh, that's due today too? Fantastic. Don't you have some of my drafts on your laptop? I'll pull one of those.
Why don't you just get your laptop out of your bag and start working on it